Hey, what's happening everybody? It's Royce from Enamel. Welcome to my channel. Tonight's video is going to be one that's, I know it's taken me a while to get to this. This is video number 500, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. I've been doing this for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, maybe more. I don't know what it's been. So it's a good bit of videos. YouTube actually has it listed as video number 502, which I'm not sure I quite understand that, because I'm getting 500 on my end, so I'm not sure where the other 2 videos are coming from. But anyway, so this would be in my eyes, this is video number 500. Maybe it is 503. Either way, it's a lot of videos. This is something I wanted to do for a long time. This video is only on the Porsche 917 from Hot Wheels and all the variants from early 1970 on up until the year 2021, which is what we're in now. So this is going to be pretty in-depth. This is going to be a long video. So if you're not interested in the casting of the Porsche 917, this is probably not the video for you. But if you like Hot Wheels and you do like the different castings and variations, this is something you may appreciate, hopefully. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so. I appreciate that. And that's the other thing. I hit 10,000 subscribers not too long ago, and that was pretty cool. Took a long time to get to that, so it was a pretty exciting moment. And I also got to get to the huge sweepstakes as well. That's coming up as soon as I can get to that as well. I've just been busy with work and everything else. But we can see here, this is pretty much everything in my collection, from the Hot Ones to the Porsche series, Real Riders, the Golf RLC car, 2 different of the old Spectre Flame cars, the 100% Black Box series car, to the 1998 anniversary set. And then of course we have all these laid out, and I did get some GoPro shots of the all my loose cars. And how this fascination started was, would have been probably only a couple years old. This one here actually was one of my very first Hot Wheels cars. It was actually my oldest brother's. This is a red line one too, which is kind of unusual. And it was lost to the ages forever, and my dad found it in the dirt doing I don't know, maybe 25 years ago, found it buried at their house. So it's still technically my very first 917 that I ever collected. It was my oldest brother's originally, but I got all the hand-me-downs. I did put a reproduction rear window in the back of it, but it's all there. What's unusual about this one is red line tires. Actually has a larger rear tires on it. A lot of them have a smaller sized wheels on the back, and it's a metal base, but it has the orange paint scheme. And I'll go into all that, the differences of them a little bit later. Like this one here is the same thing, but it's plastic. That's a red line tires, but it has a plastic base. So this one is actually kind of a little unusual per my research, because it has the larger rear tires on it. So it's another reason why I never got rid of it. But what I'm going to do is probably clear this all out, clear the whole area out, put a turntable in here, and I'll start from the very first release, and then work our way up to this one here from the 2021 set. And that's how I'm going to do this video, which is going to probably be very long and extensive. But please hang in there. I appreciate it. If you love Porsches and appreciate this casting, it's actually 3 different castings. Actually, it's 4. I think 4 or 5 different castings that they used over the years. We will count them up here then. But anyway, so please stick around, and I'll be right back. All right, we shall get started with the very first 917 Porsche that was designed by Ira Guilford for Hot Wheels. This particular one, even though the pack is dated 69 on the back, this version, they were produced from 1970, 71, and 72, and with the SpectraFlame paint. This particular example has a plastic badge, and you can see off to the side there instead of the metal, which is fairly common. I like how even down here they have Ed Roth logo there that they were using, had permission. So this was considered an unpunched car because the hole was still present there. But like I said, it is dated 69 on the package, but from what my research shows, it was 70, 71, 72 that the SpectraFlame cars were produced. And I will show the ones that I have. I think there were quite a few colors made. All right, well, what gets confusing with these cars is there's so many different versions. They had first the release was the US versions, which had white interior, matte black paint on the taillight area, and Mattel Inc. USA on the base. And then there's also the Hong Kong releases, which is identified by black or brown interior, gloss black paint on taillight area, Hong Kong on base. From what I could tell, there appears to be, let's see, at least a dozen different SpectraFlame colors, and I will show you all the examples I have. We won't get too involved in that. This package, as you can see, is kind of like the standard Sweet 16 style package, and then of course they went to the Grand Prix, which actually this pack is dated 70 on the Grand Prix, and I believe well, this is also considered unpunched, and it's Canadian, so it has the French writing on the back, but this one is dated 70 on the back. This one's dated 69 in the corner. So there's a blue one. They did come with a sticker. Better to show here. They did come with a sticker and the number 18, 2 sidebar stripes. It said Porsche on them, and then a little one you could put, I guess, inside the case there, which is this one here. Pretty interesting. But here's a good shot of one. It's a shame this one here, when I got it, the rear glass popped out. It's laying over here off to the side, which kind of sucks, but the sticker's in there. Otherwise, it's in pretty good condition. It's got the metal badge, which is one of these. Here's one loosely. Here's a standard back of the card of what the Grand Prix US English version looks like. This one's dated 67, but it's basically the same. Got the cool, awesome artwork on the front, Grand Prix Series. So I will show which ones I have, and we will go over the bases and all that good stuff. We will start with a bright magenta, and I will kind of move on as quickly as I can. Now, like I said, this one would be considered magenta as far as I could tell. The same, I believe, as this one. I think this one looks a little more red, perhaps. With the way they did these, a lot of them would change colors or get mottled, as they call it, with the darker spots. This, I believe, is the same interior and everything. So let's shut this off and take a look. So we have a US produced one, and you can see how everything's running horizontal. All the typography, everything is running horizontal on it. The early ones had the hubcap style wheels. White interior. like a light smoky gray glass. Someone chose not to put any decals on this one. There's a good shot of the matte black paint around the taillights. And we would compare it here to a Hong Kong one, if I can find one. Supposedly the paint is a little more shinier on the taillight area. This to me still looks matte on the blue one, which is a Hong Kong. Hong Kong had black or brown interior. This one does appear to have black interior. But here's a good shot of the two different bases if you're curious. We have Hong Kong, which is all running horizontal and lengthwise to the vehicle, and then of course the US one, which is shorter and it's running this direction in front of the engine. So if you're always wondered about that, this is what they look like on the bases. And this one is blister pool fresh. I would say this one is absolutely just stunning. The base of that, how shiny it is. Black interior opposed to the white interior. Get a shot of that spinning around, since this is going to be the 917 pornography video. And if you're like me, this is I would have to say this is my favorite casting of the vintage Hot Wheels of all time. I have two very, very, very popular Hot Wheels research books, and neither one of them mention anything about this casting, which is very odd to me. I always thought it was a pretty popular one, but maybe not. I don't know. In the eyes of historians, Hot Wheels historians, I don't know. To me, it's an important casting. It was an important car at the time. And now this, of course, is the design before they changed it for 70 and made the different rear end on it to create more downforce. Here we have an example of a yellow US one, white interior, very light gray plastic for the windscreen and rear deck window. This one's nearly blister pool fresh, I would say. Very, very beautiful. Almost a golden yellow. I will show an antifreeze green one next here then, which is kind of similar to this, but when you have them together, this one is definitely more yellow, I would say. See, this is considered light green. There's definitely a difference in color. This one is also US. Someone chose to stick the decals on and have a good time with the car, but it is in near mint condition. Beautiful. So I would call that the antifreeze green if it was up to me. There's a little bit of speculation on some of these colors, though, what you want to call them, because there's apple green, and you know, some people might just say green, but it could be more of an apple green. This one also has the sidebar rocker stripes applied from, I guess, someone's childhood, and someone got to play with this, but not very hard. I mean, this one's also nearly blister pool fresh, and that's pretty awesome. So we'll bring in the next green one here, which to me, this is what I would call the sour apple green, perhaps. For oddly enough, the decals have really yellowed on this, but that's a good way to know that this is most likely original. There's decals. I will show what the replica decals look like opposed to the original decals. It's a good way to spot if you are looking to purchase one and you're wondering if the decals are fake or not. I can show you the differences. Very strange how yellow the decals got on that one. So I don't know if someone had that stored in an attic or whatever, that the temperatures. This one is also US made, has the white interior. Hopefully these look good on the screen. I am looking at a small monitor as I have these rotate. All right, so we'll move on to another one. But we can go over, let's go over the decals quick. I'll show you the differences. This enamel one actually has reproduction decals, and I will show you the difference here. The 8s, you can see the font is a little bit chunkier on the silver one, and the 1/8 on the green is a finer font. This replica decal set I actually got off of eBay, and the guy had really good reviews, but once I got him in the mail, I was not totally impressed with the kit. It's not bad, but it's not great. And he claimed that they're exact replicas of the original, which, as you can see, the 1 and 8 are not. It's not exact. The rocker stripes are pretty good. Maybe once I review this on the video, I'll find something wrong with the rocker stripes as well. But definitely the 1/8 and the meatballs are way off. The font's different. It's not. It's larger. Let's just say. And let me just show you with one that's not turned yellow. See if I have one here that with original decals. Okay, the purple here is original decals on the top, reproduction number 18 decals on the bottom, and there's no doubt in my mind that there's a pretty good difference. And maybe it's a good thing that the seller has them, that they're not exact, because that's a good way. Then you're not, people aren't getting taken advantage of. Perhaps maybe that's why they're made, just to be scaled up just a hair there on the reproductions, which maybe, now that I'm thinking about it, might not be a bad idea that they're not 100% exact. Just thought I'd go over that quick about the decals. We will show this purple one while I already have it out. This one is a US one as well. Definitely was played with, has plenty of chips and love. It was well played with and enjoyed. I took some shots with my GoPro camera of the whole groupings all together in the beginning of the video, so you could refer back to that if you want to see the differences of them all laying together. But this is what I would consider straight purple for sure. So we had magenta and salmon, and I could lay them up here together. We have magenta, and then we have salmon. I do not have an actual true pink one. The prices of them are absolutely insane. Hopefully someday I'll be able to get a hold of a straight pink one. But as you can see, coming up around to the left side of the screen is salmon, in the middle is magenta, and on the right with the decals is straight purple. We will show the salmon one now by itself. The salmon one is quite interesting. As you can see, looking in the background, there is an orange enamel flying colors from 74, 75 era. And it on screen there, it probably looks similar to that orange of the enamel, but it's definitely not. I mean, it's a very shiny, does remind you of the skin of a salmon fish, like a scaly, oily, shiny pink hue to it. I love this one. I think it's really cool. And that is a US based one as well, white interior. All right, sometime in 73 or late 72, they had switched to enamel paints. This is considered a gray enamel. And I think that's the only one besides the seafoam green, which I'll show next. This is a US based one. You can see here, this is an oval. You can kind of see it there. Right there, you can see someone at one point in time did have that Porsche oval decal stuck on the bottom. You can kind of see there, I kept the base minty in the middle, very minty, but then the rest kind of oxidized. But that's a nice example of a gray enamel. The other one, which is fairly rare, I'll bring up here, is a seafoam green. I got this one for $20 off of eBay. If it would be intact, the value could be anywhere from $200 on up to $1,000 depending on condition. Pretty insane, really, for what it is. But I believe the enamels only made the gray enamel and the seafoam green enamel. And I thought I saw a picture somewhere one time of a really rare black enamel, but I don't know if that was an actual, real one or not. It's hard to tell. Sometimes they had some go through the factory in different odd colors. So some are out there, I'm sure, that are super rare. This one has one of the pins busted off for the rear clamshell. So I don't have the clamshell for that, but I jumped on it. I sent the guy an offer. I think he wanted like $70 maybe for it or something like that. And I sent him an offer of $20 and he took it. So you can see this is a Hong Kong base. Typography is running front to back on it. But that is a fairly rare one, the seafoam green. So moving on from the 73, the enamel paints becomes the flying colors era of 74, which I will start by showing you an odd bird first and foremost. Starting in late 73 or 74, they had gone to this version, which was the orange. And they, from what I understand, Porsche threw a fit. They wrote a letter to Mattel asking them to stop using the name Porsche or pay, I guess, to use, for licensing rights. So they dropped the name Porsche, and Mattel started calling us a P-917. And that's how that became the P917, which, as you can see on the tampos on this one, which is the first 917 to appear with the tampos. They do have a version of this. I don't have a good example of it. With the tampo actually says Porsche on the top. I believe this one would have had it on it, but it's worn out. This one's an odd bird here. And believe it or not, this particular one I had from my childhood. My oldest brother, who's 7 years older than myself, he had it from new. What's interesting about this one is it has larger rear tires. It's got the metal base, which most of the flying color cars have black plastic bases. Has red line tires. Here's a plastic base example, Hong Kong. The base of these, it'll say, it's scratched out, and it'll say P917 on the base right in the middle there. You can kind of see it. Some of these did go through, like this one I got looking at it recently, and this does clearly say Porsche 917 on the base, plus it's metal, which is unusual. So there was a transition period here for sure, and I suspect the tampos on this one, that was my oldest brother's, that got handed down to me, that tampo on it probably said Porsche 917 on the top. What I find fascinating though is how this has the larger rear tires. I don't have any other ones in my collection like that. They all have the small tires on the back. So very, very, very cool to have this one. And I'm still researching, trying to find a better example. And I've been keeping an eye out for a long time on eBay, and I haven't found anything that has the large rear tires like that. I did stick a reproduction rear glass in the back. And this was, my parents found this in the flower bed. It was lost for 30 plus years in their flower bed, believe it or not, and this is the condition. I did try to scrub it up the best I can and clean it, but I will always hold on to this one and treasure it, because I remembered as a kid we were all fascinated by the 917s, and so this is technically one of my very first 917s that influenced me throughout my life, because the 917 is my favorite race car of all time. So this car is pretty important to me. But moving on from that, like I said, they had a black plastic base. So I have different variants of this particular one here that I could show. This one, of course, would probably be the very last, probably around 77 maybe. From what I found research-wise, they dropped this in 79. I have not found any examples of that late. I would say this is probably 76 or so that has the black walls. Everything else is the same one, black plastic base, P917 tampos on the top, black interior, blue glass. As you can see, this one, of course, is red line tires. There was a Super Chromes version, which was this one. It's fairly rare. Black plastic base, red line tires, and we will take a look at that one. This is also one of my favorites in my collection. Kind of a rare one. Usually when you see these, they're pretty well beat up. Kind of hard to find a decent example. This one I found on eBay. I don't think the person really knew what they had, because it was priced really super low, to the point I started thinking maybe it was a reproduction. And then I you know, you want to buy it, be at your own risk. You want to really make sure you zoom up on photos to look at them. And I zoomed way up, and everything I could see, this was not a reproduction or anything. This was definitely Super Chromes. It's just not very chromy, as you can see. Is that the right word, chromy? It's a very dull Zamac finish on it, which it should be a lot shinier when they were new. But nonetheless, pretty rare one for $30. I think I paid 30 or 35 for this, and it's valued at quite a bit more than that. But that one I always will treasure too. This is cool. Here's a played with example here. Another one, black walls. Not sure where this one came from. Just an extra in my. It's got a lot of looseness to it. So we have back here is how that would have appeared like this. There's a Flying Colors mint on the card. I had scored maybe 15 years ago off of eBay. I didn't pay much for it then, and now these are worth a good bit of money, which is pretty insane. Also considered an unpunched card. But I think this is dated 76, it looks like. No, 75. Dated 75 on the back. Usually a year off, whatever the date is. So let's just say this is 76, even though the card's dated 75. The seller even put it in this hard case when he sent it, which was really nice, because they really went up in value since when I bought that. And I think it's worth like 6 times what I paid for it. I didn't pay much at all for it. All right, moving on then from 76 era, 73 to, I should say 74 to probably like 79 era, the Flying Colors era. We had a break from 79 to basically 1998. Larry Wood had designed the next one to come out for the 100% series, which would have been in these black boxes. And this was the design that he rendered. Very accurate, very close. The wheels are great on them. If you're not familiar with these 100% series, they were all 100% metal. Very detailed. Look at the bottom of it. Very detailed. Rubber tires. Clamshell. Rear opens up. Fully detailed motor. They never, to this day, Hot Wheels has never, in my opinion, made anything come close to these 100% series in terms of detail for the price. Absolutely insane, but we will check that out. What started was originally, we'll move this out of the way. This is the set that started it all. When they for 1998 Porsche's 50th anniversary, there was this set here, which had the yellow Boxster, light blue Golfa 917, red 930 Turbo, and the silver 550 Spider. And this is what basically the point of Larry Wood redoing the 917 was to be used for this set, and then subsequently was sold in the 100% series. So this is from 98 going into 99, which I do have that car loose here, and we will spin it and show it up close. All right, so here we have the 917 Golf number 2 car pulled out of the 1998 anniversary Porsche set. This was redesigned by Larry Wood for Mattel, and it was absolutely spectacular at the time. Underrated, and now it's starting to finally take off in the terms of value for people. My only complaint with this is they used a red, or almost a red, for the stripe, and it should have been more orange. Sadly enough, to me it looks red, so that was the only bummer on it. The headlights are shaped a little odd from the way they should have been, more like the original casting, a little more rounded, oval-like, instead of square headlights. But it is really detailed. Does not have white leather tires, but is all over metal. Black synthetic rubber tires. We got fully detailed flat 12 engine in there. Really impressive. Fully detailed base. That base is going to be, you'll see that here coming up. They used this for quite a few of them, even up until like 2011 or 13, I think it is. But you'll see the bases are dated 1998. This mark here is where it was screwed into the, I think it's a screw mark, right? I think that's where it's screwed into the base. But as you can see, the headers are painted white, going out to the megaphone tips. Super impressive in terms of detailing from Mattel, and like I said, to this day they've never come anywhere close to this, in my opinion. All right, so next we will show the 100% series, which those boxes are dated 2000. We will show the 1970 Le Mans winner, which had Goodyear tires. Really awesome. So this one came out in 2000, probably actually 2001. The box is dated 2000. So let's go with 2001. And then in 03, they had the yellow one, which has the hippie scheme with it, which I will show next. And this is the other one that's out of that black box 100% series. Suppose we came 2 years later, oddly enough. Really cool as well. But that has the Martini hippie livery on it. I think that's also Goodyear tires, I believe, on it, right? Doesn't have the Martini, it's Firestone. I'm sorry, it's Firestone tires and Goodyear tires on the red one, the 70 Le Mans winner. But they don't have the name Martini's not written on here. I guess they didn't get permission for that. So next, there would have been a little bit of a break. And we had the Real Riders version of this one here, packaging. Come out in 06. Package dated 05, but it came out in, I believe, 06. It has the scallops on it. Is basically the 1970 Le Mans winner, but it doesn't have the clamshell. It had goofy chrome wheels. I will show one of those out of the pack. That one I found, actually I found the two of them I found came from Target back in the day. Also number 23 Tampos, very similar Tampo that they used for the 70 Le Mans winner, the red one. I believe it's exactly the same number fonts. But with this one here, even though it's a Real Rider series, we have black plastic cheesy base, but it's still the same. The wheels are god awful on it. The rear clamshell doesn't open. This is when they started getting cheese and everything down, and kind of I don't know if the bean counters were after them or what, but they start getting really cheesy, and this would be one of them that I always thought it was kind of sad, but it looks pretty cool in the light blue. But it's a fictional paint scheme, of course, or livery I should say is fictional on it. So that is the 2005. All right, so next for 2013, we had a jump there from 2005 to 2013, would be the RLC Golf, which I believe that's what, are they Goodyear tires on that or Firestone? We got Firestone tires on that one. They only made 4,000 of these. Well, sold to the public 4,000 of them. There's a Spectre Flame light blue, really wild looking. Also minor, very minor details. There we can at least see kind of exhaust, and exhaust supports painted white, and the taillights are painted, opposed to that last one we'd seen where nothing was painted on it. This one is all over metal. We have a satin black metal base. And I will show you what they look like in the package. I had bought a spare. Actually, I had ordered two originally from Mattel. And as you can see at the top, it says number 3200 out of 4,000 up here on this holofoil decal. Pretty good in terms of investment wise. I didn't pay much for them. I think 20 or 25 bucks a piece at the time, and these are going for crazy amounts of money now, which you do figure if they only made 4,000 of them, and people now they make 25,000 of a run of an RLC car. Pretty crazy. All right, so that was the Golf RLC Spectre Flame car from 2013. We will move on to the Heritage Series, which was next, I believe is what they called it, which was this dark blue. Next up from 2015, we have the Heritage Series, and it was supposed to be metal flake blue. It doesn't really look like it, but that's what it's supposed to be. Red and white Tampo graphics with number 17 meatballs. Chrome interior, clear glass. I did swap the wheels on this one. The wheels were, I think the god-awful ones from that light blue, I believe is what was on it prior. They look terrible. So this is not the correct wheels on. I would like to get another one that would have the correct wheels. But at least it does have a number, a metal base dated 98. I think it had these wheels here. I think is what was on. They were terrible, whatever. I'm pretty sure it was those wheels. Absolutely awful. Look like wagon wheels. But more I look at this one, I like it, especially after I swapped the wheels on. I think it looks a lot better. So there you go. That's from 2015. And then there was a 5-year gap until the Car Culture Series light blue one came out. All right, next up we have from 2011/2012 was the Hot Ones, and they brought back the original Ira Guilford design 917, which is in the 1969 style body. And what was cool is this had a metal base, and then it has the Blackwell style wheels. This one is in the pack. I do have one out of the pack here. And they made it in yellow with number 7, and then they had this magenta-ish, I don't know, almost a brownish red in the number 9, which I have seen variations of this. This one has the red line tires with the lettering on it. I have seen someone have a white outline around that red as well on the tires, but this one's pretty cool. What's it dated? 11, I think, on the bottom. 1969, 2011 and 1969. It says on the bottom there, I believe. So it went back to the full Porsche logo tampos up on the top sides, as opposed to the P-917 tampo. So it gets kind of confusing. I will probably try to find the other one with the white around the tires at some point in time, but it's not that big of a deal to me at the moment. But there you go. I think it actually does say Hot Ones, right? Yeah, I think on the tire sidewalls. Very cool. That's a blister pool fresh one. And just to give you an idea there, you can kind of see that has the red chrome wheels, yellow glass, which is kind of unusual. Not very attractive, I don't think. In my opinion, I don't think it's very attractive. This one I did find in the stores back in the time. I think this was Target. So I always just kept it in the pack. I probably should just pull it out of the pack, I guess. All right, next up we had from 2013, actually 14 going into 15. We had this Porsche set, which I'm not sure, was that Canada only, or was it? I guess it was Walmart only. I never seen any ever in the store. I had to get this off of eBay, and I do have an example out of the pack here to show, but there's the cars in that series. I'm thinking this was Walmart only. Maybe it was Canada only. I don't remember, but I do have the 935/78, I believe, pulled in my case, but I don't know if I have any of the other ones. But that is using the casting from 98, which was designed by Larry Wood. So it has kind of like the more square headlights. Even though it has the 98 style redesigned body, if you look, the headlights are actually a little different as opposed to unless my eyes are deceiving me. But if you look, it's definitely been retooled. The headlights are slightly more rounded on the yellow one as opposed to the blue. Could be my imagination, but sure looks, this looks more teardrop shaped to me, and the light blue is definitely more square, the headlight recesses. So I don't know, maybe it's my imagination, but it sure looks to me like they're a little slightly different, even though it's pretty much the same casting. So there you go. That was from the modern ones. And then we will move on to the next one. All right, for 2017, going into actually 2018, 19, and 20, Hot Wheels had a brand new, fresh 917 LH, which was Langhack, which was the long tail version from 71, and it was spectacular, huge hit for them. The first release was this light blue Golf, the Golf livery, and then the next one after was white, and then they released it in bright blue, after the bright blue they released it in red. After the red, they released the hippie version of it, the Martini livery. Pretty freaking cool. And after the hippie one, they released a Zamac version that was Walmart exclusive. Looks cool with also with the hippie livery. just to give you an idea what they can look like, slightly detailed and look a lot better. Here's one that I had detailed. I believe I did this for the channel at one point in time. And they can look really, really cool. Redone. Allen head screws. Here it is opposed to one that's not detailed. I painted the fiberglass fan in the back there, opposed to what it looks like stock. Pretty big difference, just for an hour or two of work. But that was a very popular casting. I believe it probably still is. It would be awesome if they made a premium version of it, but I'm sure they would ruin it somehow if they did. Hate to say that, but I come to that conclusion here lately that I think if they made a premium version, it would not be very good. All right, moving on from 2018 through 2020, they brought out for 2020 going into 21, they had that race car set, which included this 917 number 20, which is a good start. I believe this was a Walmart only set as well. I got lucky and found mine at Walmart. I did do a review of the set. I called it the shelf warmer set. It's on my channel if you want to see the review of the whole thing. This is not bad. The problem I have with this, besides the whole chrome interior / motor issue, is that the wheels were just awful on it. It's got like, looks like would be 24s on it in real life. It's got huge 5 spokes, which is fine, the 5-spoke in black, but it should have been smaller. Lettered tires would have been nice. Ditch the chrome interior with the chrome engine. I don't know. It's okay, and I'm glad that they at least have it. And it does remind people of the 917 from the Steve McQueen movie Le Mans, where he's running it, the number 20 car at the very end of the movie. It's not bad. So that concludes all of them up to date of all the variants. I might have missed something in between, but I don't think I did. I got to now figure out how to put this all together. This video, it's going to be pretty extensive, pretty long, and it's going to take me some time to do this. But I want to thank everybody for the continued support of the channel. I know I'm not on here as much as I should be. It just doesn't pay. It hasn't paid very well in quite a while, and so my actual real job in real life is slightly more important than producing these videos. I hate to say that, but I did hit 10,000 subscribers, and that was a big goal that I wanted the last few years. Hopefully we can get to 15 and then 20,000 in the next year or two. That would be kind of nice. So if you like this type of video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, all good stuff. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. It takes a second, and also the bell for notifications. And until next time, I will see you guys later. You guys have a good night. Thanks for watching. I will put for the ending montage, or so whatever you want to call that, the conclusion of this video, I'll have some shots of everything together. It's pretty crazy to think that this is 40 years worth of collecting right here in front of me, but it is my favorite race car and favorite casting of all time, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. So thanks again, and let's move on to number 501. All right, you guys have a good night. Bye now.